believe Westerman is properly punished in this case for what he did.
A former Baltimore County cop, Anthony Westerman, convicted on 2 counts of rape. Friday, Judge Keith Trufer handed down his sentence, all suspended except for 4 years of home detention. No jail time.
Which means, this defendant who's been convicted of second-degree rape will be serving the sentence in the privacy of their own home. And that certainly was not something that we were expecting or looking for.
State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger says Judge Trufer decided to throw out one of the rape convictions he handed down in August and stated there was not evidence of any psychological injury to the victim. The prosecution did not provide a letter from the victim's psychologist.
The victim did tell everyone, and she has been in counseling ever since this incident happened. So I didn't really think there was dispute about the fact that there was psychological damage. Now, candidly, we didn't have a letter from the psychologist, but we very often don't. And there really was not a dispute that she has been, in fact, in counseling.
You can't be raped and assaulted like that without suffering terrible trauma.
Dorothy Lenning with House of Ruth was stunned by the sentence. According to court testimony, Westerman met the 22-year-old victim at a bar in 2017. She was drunk and asked for a ride home, except Westerman took her to his house where she passed out and he raped her. Both Schellenberger and Lenning worry about the lasting implications of this sentence.
I think this is what makes it so hard for victims, particularly of sex crimes, to come forward, because I think it feels to the victim like nothing happened to this man.
It really is the entire package that I think sends the wrong message, not only to defendants, but also to sexual assault victims. By them seeing this sentence, they may have second thoughts about reporting their own rape case.
An attorney for Westerman sent us a statement saying, in part, Officer Westerman and his family are relieved that the judge did the right thing by not sending him to prison. We believe that the verdict was against the weight of the evidence, and he says they do plan to appeal that verdict. Meanwhile, Schellenberger says his office is looking into whether they have any legal recourse to challenge the decision the judge made. Reporting live in Towson, Kim Day, CWBAL TV 11 News.
Okay, you heard that right there. Before I get started, shout out to Tawana in the Discord for sending this story to me, and it is coming out of Baltimore. Remember, I told y'all Baltimore has some of the most corrupt cops there. They are on my list of most corrupt departments. They are in the top 5. I think they're like number 5 for me. Then you have Chicago, LAPD, NYPD, and it's a toss-up for that last one. I forget, but Chicago. Unless I think I already mentioned it, but anyway. So you have this case of this guy here. His name is Anthony Michael Westerman. And back in 2017, he violated, y'all know what I mean when I say that. Of course, in the audio clip, they had to say it. This woman who was drunk and impaired. When I heard that, that reminded me of Brock Turner, because I think Brock Turner happened back in 2017, and he violated a woman behind a dumpster, and she was intoxicated. Remember, his dad said, "Why ruin my son's life for 20 minutes of pleasure?" And the same thing with this guy. Why ruin his life for a few minutes of pleasure? And he violated this woman who was intoxicated. And they said they threw out all the charges except one. And that one that they got him with allows him to serve out his sentence while being at home. He's not serving his sentence out in a cell. He's serving out his sentence in the privacy of his home, like the attorney stated. All because of some legal technicalities of some documents that they claim they didn't get from whatever therapist or whoever the victim was seeing. They said that she's spoken out plenty of times about this. But we live in a world where you have to coddle PC, especially that PC man. You got to think of his future no matter what. Tack on the fact that he's a Baltimore cop, and that's par for the course. That's like the cherry on top. That is crazy. Ultimate slap on the wrist. I just did a video about the PC man in New Hampshire who got a slap on the wrist from that judge up there. Now here we have incidents, Brock Turner, the one in New Hampshire, and now this guy, happening at various different times in 3 different locations. What do they all have in common? They all are PC males, and they're all creeps. And they all got light sentences. But I think Brock Turner was the only one that actually went to jail. But he only did, 3 months? Because I think they said he was going to get a couple of years, and they reduced it to 6 months. Then they reduced it to 3. And I think they tried to reduce it even more. But they was like, nah, we ain't going to go. Like, he's going to jail. And that Aaron Persky, who was the judge, who I think was linked in somehow with that dad of Brock Turner, he was the one that literally was trying his best to make Brock Turner literally skate up out of there. But he's no longer a judge, thank God. I always think judges who are over cases like this need to have the cases that they presided over looked into. Because when they make decisions such as these to let these creeps just like walk away from any type of persecution or consequence, that's a problem. Who's to say they were not going to strike again? And I don't know if this guy was even had to register as a sex offender, because they didn't specify if he did or if he didn't. Or the one in New Hampshire, I think the most that happened to him is he had to register as a sex offender. But what's that going to do? A lot of people who register as a sex offender still commit the same sex offending crimes that got them on the sex offenders list. So like I said, 3 different stories at 3 different locations at 3 different times, but they all come to the same damn conclusion. Dub privilege is in full effect. Yet again, it is thriving in a very persistent and consistent way, in a very persistent and consistent manner. And they like to say race doesn't play a factor. How many black men do you see getting this many slaps on the wrist in a cluster like that? And they wonder why in the category of violation on the FBI's crimes list, they lead in that category. Now, just imagine if they actually convicted them of those crimes, the number would be even more astronomical. So if you look at the FBI crime stats list under violations, then you will see that that number should be higher than what they put out there. Because they do not convict them of those crimes of violation, that is why the numbers are rather low, but they're still high because they still supersede every other group. Yet you have this black man who I think was in Kentucky, who got put in prison for a bunch of years. I forgot his name. I think it was Albert something. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Who got put in jail for alleged violations of this random white girl, and he didn't even penetrate her. I think they said all he did was kiss her, and it was consensual. First of all, she wasn't even supposed to be there because she was underage. She was like 17. So she wasn't even supposed to be in this bar, this club, or wherever they were at. So she lied about her age. But then they try to make it seem like he violated her. And even when she said that he did not do anything to violate me, like y'all claim, they still went ahead and locked him up anyway. But you got people like Tim Scott and Kamala Harris who say that America is not a racist nation. I mean, keep saying that until you're blue in the face, and it won't make it any less true. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.